The weather is getting nicer, your house is getting warmer, but you're having to sleep with your window open to deal with the heat. This is allowing in so many flies, a lot more dust, maybe some pollen, and your hay fever is going through the roof. In today's video, I'll be comparing two solutions to both these problems with the Dyson Purify Cool React fan and the Worcester Bosch 3000i air conditioning unit. This has to be one of the coolest fans I've seen, despite the pun, so this should be quite an interesting video. I'm Jacob, I work for iHeat, and we've now entered the space of air conditioning. If you head to iHeat's website, you can now start a quote for not only a boiler or an electric vehicle charger, you can now get a quote for an air conditioning unit to be installed in your home. The most common unit we sell is the Worcester Bosch 3000i, which is the air conditioning unit I'll be using in today's comparison video. If you head to the website, there are multiple options available. However, this unit we actually have in our office today in our meeting room. We've had it for around 6 months and we're only just starting to use it as the temperature in the UK is getting quite hot. If you do find this video useful, please do let me know by leaving a like on this video. Right then, let's do this. This is the Worcester Bosch 3000i. As mentioned before, we have this installed in our office meeting room. This allows us to control the temperature inside the room, whether it be hot or cold. Yes, this air conditioning unit not only cools the room, but can also heat it up too. This is great for us at iHeat, as when we have a client meeting, we can make sure the room is the perfect temperature. So not only are we comfortable, but the clients are comfortable too. If it is the hottest day of the year in summer, we can make the room as low as 16 degrees. And if it is the coldest day in winter, we can actually heat up the room by 8 degrees using the air conditioning unit alone. No need for radiators or a boiler in the property. This is where the air conditioning unit is perfect for remote properties or office buildings like this one in the middle of nowhere where they have no access to gas to install a boiler or cause heating. Please do bear in mind that with this air conditioning unit you have an indoor unit which looks ridiculously sleek and modern, but also an outdoor unit which is mounted to the outside wall of the property. This can either go on the floor, mounted to the wall, or even mounted high up on the first floor to avoid any sort of collisions or head clearances if you're walking underneath it. I think the unit looks great on the wall inside the office. It isn't an eyesore, it doesn't get spotted out that often, it kind of just blends in with the modern, clean look. This bad boy also aids air purification using a high density filter. This eliminates up to 95% of dust, smoke odor, and pollen, maintaining a healthy indoor environment. And here comes the competitor, the Dyson Purifier Humidity and Cool Auto React. What a mouthful. This is a beast of a fan. I've owned it for around 8 to 10 months, and as you can imagine, in the last few weeks, it has been a godsend. The video studio in the office is not only in the attic, which means it's very hot during the summer, but my bedroom at home is also in an attic, so you can imagine it comes in very clutch when it is the height of summer and extremely hot indoors. The Dyson has 10 different fan speeds, it can swivel without actually moving, and does look like a bit of a spaceship. It does look great with the modern interior of my home, but maybe inside my grandma's house or a more traditional home, it wouldn't quite fit. So how are we going to compare the two devices? Cost, appearance, practicality, and noise. The average cost of a Worcester Bosch 3000i with installation is around £2,500 to £3,000. This is for a single unit and the outdoor unit, both installed to your property, fully programmed, fully working, and it will cool down your home. This for me is extremely reasonable. When you imagine air conditioning and how much it should cost, you'd imagine probably double this amount of money. It is around the same cost of a budget-friendly boiler, so if you are making this investment, please do think long-term and not just the short-term returns. On the flip side, the Dyson Fan is £700. For a fan, this is a lot of money, but the technology that comes with it makes it definitely worthwhile. It's also worth mentioning there are much cheaper versions of the Dyson Fan out there. You don't have to go for Dyson, you could get literally a £20 swivel fan, or just a cheaper version of a Dyson model that doesn't have the purifying option. The reason why I went for this one is because it's the most comparable to the Worcester Bosch 3000i with its high density filter. If you are sat at home saying who the hell needs air purification, think about how often you're getting ill, how much dust is in your home, how often you're having to clean it. Why do you think that is? These devices are a great entry to air purification, so if you want to invest in your own health and your home, this is a great place to start. Now with cost to run, Worcester estimate the cost of the 3000i to be around 5 to 30p an hour. This is all depending on your electric tariff. I currently pay 23p per kilowatt hour, which is quite high, so I can expect to be at the higher end of that price spectrum. This of course fluctuates based on how often I use it, how hot it is outside, and how long and how hard the unit has to work to get the room to the target temperature. With the Dyson, it currently costs me around 34p an hour, depending on how long I use it for. Normally I use the fan for between 2 to 8 hours a day, so you can imagine how much this cost over a month. So yes, whilst the upfront cost of the Dyson is a lot more appealing, over time and the actual cost to run the fan can be quite high too. Just like with a new boiler, the upfront cost can be quite scary, however it is an investment and it is meant to last a long time. Now for appearance, I think both devices look great. Both take up similar amounts of space in a room and neither look much of an eyesore. Where I think the air conditioner wins in this competition is based on where you put it inside a room. The Dyson fan has to take up floor space, you can't mount it up nice and high, so you could use that space for something like a desk, sofa, or just free space. Whereas the 3000i gets mounted to your wall quite high up where you just wouldn't have anything in normal day-to-day life. You may have some cupboards if it's in a kitchen or living room, but the majority of the time it will just be empty, free space you aren't using. If you live in a small house or want to cool down a particularly small room, the air conditioning unit is probably going to be the one for you. Next up is practicality, and this is quite a large can of worms. The main question you have to ask is where in your house are you wanting this device to be? If you only want one room in your property to be constantly cold, i.e. a bedroom or an office, then getting a stationary device like the air conditioning unit from Worcester is the best way to go. However, if you like to change what room you use throughout the day, maybe you like to watch TV in the living room, work in a small office inside your home, and then sleep in a different room as your bedroom, you may want to get the Dyson fan, as you can literally just unplug it, pick it up and move it to your desired room. In an ideal world, you'd buy multiple air conditioning units which can link to the singular outdoor unit and have them in different rooms across your home. For me, a perfect setup would be one in my bedroom in the attic and one in the living room, as it's a bit of an open space which has a lot of people and pets in. If I'm honest, I do use the Dyson fan in my bedroom and do have tendencies to pick it up and take it downstairs for the dogs whilst I'm at work. This is because it's normally going to be a very hot day and I simply just don't want the dogs to pass out. If I had an air conditioning unit just in my bedroom, there'd be no way of cooling down the other rooms inside the house, so I'd have to pick up the dogs, take them upstairs and let the air conditioning unit do its thing. So overall, it always comes down to personal preference. Where do you want the rooms to be cool? How much do you care about them being cool? And are you willing to pay the price to get it there? The main practical use difference for me is the timers built into both devices. Both devices come with a remote. You can turn them on and off from the remote. You can change the fan setting, the fan speed, the direction in which it's blowing. They're very useful and I do like having the remotes. The 3000i also has a very cool feature called Follow Me, where depending on where the remote is inside the room, the breeze will follow the remote to make sure you're getting targeted by the breeze, therefore making the most of the cooling down function. There's also an avoid me option where if you don't want the wind blasting in your face, you don't want the hair blowing everywhere, you can turn on this option to make sure the fan blows the air away from you and where the remote is. This is a very smart feature which I haven't seen in many air conditioning units, but Worcester are definitely paving the way forward for the industry. The Dyson fan can do this, as you can direct the angle of the propellers to 90 degrees, 45 degrees, and then constantly panning, so the wind blows like that, as if the fan's swiveling without actually moving. It's quite cool, and it does look quite cool when it's doing it also. I'm saying cool a lot. Pun intended. Both devices also have an off timer, which I think is very handy. You can turn the air conditioning unit on and the Dyson fan on and then press the off timer to either do 1, 2, 3 or 5 hours delays. This means after that certain amount of time, the fan or the AC unit will just turn off. I use this every night with my Dyson fan. I turn it on, set it to 2 hours, and then by the time I'm asleep, the fan has turned off and I'm saving money throughout the night. You can also do this with the air conditioning unit in the office. So let's say it is 3 p.m. and I've got a meeting at 4. I can go in, turn it on and set a 2-hour timer so that the fan turns off at 5. The AC unit is off and we're saving money throughout the night when no one's in the office. However, where the Worcester Bosch 3000i sets itself apart from the rest is that you can turn it on with a timer also. This means if you want it to come on at 4 p.m, you could go into the remote and set it to come on at 4 p.m. on a weekly timer. Let's say every Friday you have a wrap up of the day, or you have a meeting on Zoom in your bedroom, or you have an office meeting, you can get the AC unit to turn on at that time to make sure the room is the right temperature for your meeting. To take it one step further, you can actually get an additional feature to the AC unit, which means you can control it from your phone anywhere in the world with an internet connection. This is perfect for me. Let's say I am in the office and I am 30 minutes away from home. It is roasting outside. I know my house is going to be awful to step into. I can go into the app, turn on my AC unit, and my house will start to cool down for my journey home. By the time I get home, my house is already at 16 degrees, but I am instantly relieved by the temperature of my house. This is a game changer, as the Dyson fan and any other fan like it can't actually reduce the temperature inside your house. All it can do is blow a breeze of the same warm air which feels cool towards you. Despite it being a £700 fan, it still can't change the actual temperature of your room. So let's go for the same instance. I'm in the office, it's roasting outside, I turn on the fan, let's say I've got a smart plug, or I pay for an even fancier version of this fan where you can control it from the app. The breeze starts to rush through my room, I enter the house, I'm sweaty, and then the breeze hits me. I'm feeling nice and cool, I'm happy, I'm pleased. I then walk over to my bedside table, put my keys down, and the breeze is no longer on me. I'm sweating, I'm hot. It's an awful experience, and that is the only downfall with these fans. They don't actually lower the room temperature inside your house, they just make you feel cooler with a slight breeze. Now, to give it some justice, the breeze function on this fan is amazing. The way it makes the air ripple does literally feel like you're outside, which is very, very cool, and that's why it is so much better than one of those £20 fans which just swivels side to side, and when you speak into it, makes an alien voice. I think to sum it up, the Dyson fans are a great temporary option. If you are cutting the grass outside, you want to pop in for a few minutes to stay cool, you can sit directly in front of the fan and be instantly relieved of the sweat. However, imagine in a perfect world, you have your AC on full, it is 16 degrees inside your entire room, you walk in and you are in heaven. The AC units are all about comfort, not just temporary fixes. Finally, I will bring up noise levels. This is something I've been blown away by with the Worcester Bosch 3000i. The indoor unit is super quiet. During my meetings, Zoom calls, in my house watching TV, you can't hear the actual fan, which is very impressive. The outdoor unit, the same. It isn't a disruption to wildlife. It isn't crazy loud. It's definitely there. It isn't the most silent thing in the world, but it is a lot quieter than I expected. In silent mode, the Worcester Bosch 3000i actually runs at 20 decibels, which is crazy to think about. The Dyson, on the other hand, is around 40 decibels when in mode 5 and below, but anything above 5, you're talking 60 decibels upwards, which is very loud. You can definitely tell it's on. When I'm on Zoom calls and you can hear the fan, it can be quite distracting. People ask, what is that going on in the background? And let's say you're trying to watch a film and there's a silent part, all you can hear is your fan going crazy. So if you care about noise, you want little disruptions to your day and noise volume, the air conditioning unit from Worcester Bosch is definitely the way to go. Overall, if your goal this summer is to feel comfortable, the Worcester Bosch 3000i is definitely the way to go. However, if you're trying to save a bit of money to go on holiday, do some mad trips, the Dyson fan is a great temporary fix for a sweaty day in the sun. If I knew what I knew now about air conditioning units and how cheap they actually can be, I wouldn't have bought the Dyson and I would have bought the air conditioning unit from the start. I would pick a room inside my house, probably going to be the living room or the attic, as that's what the rooms get used the most, and have one installed. The beauty of the Worcester Bosch 3000i is that outdoor unit that we have mounted on the wall can actually be hooked up to 2 different units. So I could have one in my attic, keeping my bedroom cool, and one in the downstairs of my home in the living room, which is quite a big open space. Of course, this would cost a lot of money, but this does have a 5-year guarantee, which means for the next 5 years, you are going to always have comfortable summers, you aren't going to be sweating, and your house is always going to be nice and cool. For me, with pets, especially French bulldogs that can't survive the heat that great, this is going to be essential for my life. If you do live alone and you are just after a quick fix when you get back from maybe working in the garden or working at an office, it's quite hot, the Dyson fan is a great choice. I do like it, I am happy I've got it. That breeze feature is crazy, but please remember that it doesn't actually reduce the temperature of your home or room that it is in. It simply just creates a breeze which feels cold. This normally means you have to run it for longer than the air conditioning unit, as you aren't actually getting the room cooler, you're just making yourself feel cool. So as soon as you turn it off, your room is still going to be the same 26 degrees it was before you turned it on. So you haven't really gained much. Anyways, I think that's long enough of a rant from me. Let me know in the comment section down below, what would you go for? The Worcester Bosch 3000i or the Dyson fan if you could get one? So let me know in the comment section down below. I am interested to hear what you think. If money was no object, what would you go for? If you do have the money, why would you not go for that one over that one? And that has been it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. This has been iHeat.